A sharp rise in the prices of the housing market has led many Israelis to camp in the streets of Tel Aviv and Jerusalem al-Quds in what has become known as the tent protests. University students and young professionals are saying that they're finding it harder and harder to afford renting apartments due to the high rise in rent coupled with low wages, a situation that has kept many staying with their parents.
We are here protesting against the rise in the rental prices and housing in Israel and in Jerusalem in specific. It became impossible for young people to even rent an apartment, not to mention buying one.
On Wednesday, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with both the finance minister and construction minister to discuss the housing prices, but no solution has been agreed on yet. The changes that are proposed by the officials is that the construction on housing projects should begin with 2.5 years of their being approved. The protesters are citing a number of reasons for the rise of price in the housing market. The most important one is demand and supply, but the blame is falling also on the lack of a public housing program, now a key demand of the protesters. The protesters are saying that the people have started to pay attention and are asking the officials to regulate the market so prices won't go up.
They build only expensive apartments for upper class, and there's nothing built for middle or lower class.
The protesters insist that they do not want to move far away from cities in order to find affordable housing, at the same time blaming a long policy of providing affordable housing in settlements in the West Bank.
One of the reasons that we suffer from housing shortage is that the only public housing was in the West Bank for settlers, and all the other Israelis suffered from it, from political reasons. So it's connected.
What they're doing is they're not taking care of the middle class, of the lower class. They're only taking care of the higher class, especially of very, very rich people who can buy land, but they're not building on the land. What they're doing is they're saving the land for themselves and waiting for its value to rise.
But Israelis were not the only ones who were protesting against the rise in prices. The same calls were echoed by Arabs as well.
The price of renting or buying a house should be lowered because people cannot afford these prices. We cannot remain silent on this situation.
The protesters are calling for a massive protest in the coming days in Tel Aviv against the high cost of living in general. Some are describing the current situation as intolerable and say that people are being enslaved and deprived of their basic right as a result of the current economic policy. The Israel National Students Union announced that the tent protests would go on until solutions to affordable housing for the masses are put forth. Ibrahim Husseini, Press TV, Jerusalem, Al-Quds.